Today's video is sponsored by MNML Case. Alright guys, so I just got my brand new Pixel 4a, and the first thing that I did was slap a MNML case on it. And the reason I like MNML cases is they don't add bulk and they don't actually take away from the design of the phone. In fact, I'm using the frosted black case on here and it doesn't even look like I have a case on it at all. And what it's doing is it's adding protection against scratches, light drops, and it even protects the glass camera bump on the back of the phone. And they also come in other neutral colors like frosted white, matte black, and I even had the clear case on my iPhone 11 Pro Max. If you're like me and you just don't like bulky cases but you want to keep your device looking new, MNML cases are the way to go. Now if you are interested in checking out MNML Case, I will have a link in the description. If you use the code Gamesky, you can even save 25% off. And again, I'd like to thank MNML Case for sponsoring today's video. Alright guys, so today we're finally going to look at the brand new Samsung Galaxy Buds Live. Now this is a pair of truly wireless earbuds that has active noise canceling but yet has the open ear design and comes in retailing at $169. Now the first thing that I want to point out is what makes this interesting is they chose to have active noise canceling on a pair that has an open ear design, because most noise canceling comes from passive noise canceling, which is the earbuds actually causing that seal within your ears. So I'm going to say this right off the bat, the noise canceling on these are pretty much non-existent. It does cancel out some low rumble noises, but very low. And again, I don't think it was worth slapping that noise canceling tag on these earbuds. Now, it's not to say that these aren't completely worth it, so we're going to check out some of the other features and what it is you get inside the box. So let's look at who these earbuds are actually for. Now there's a lot of people, and I've noticed over the years of reviewing earbuds, that simply can't wear earbuds with ear tips. Either it's too uncomfortable or their ear canals are not the right size, but for whatever reason, there's a lot of people that just can't do them. And in fact, I think that's part of the reason the normal AirPods are so popular, is they just sit in your ear, they don't seal your ear, and they're just comfortable to use, and they're not really a pair that you have to worry about angling a certain way to have the right fit. And that's kind of how the Buds Live work. Although they are a bean-shaped earbud that does actually have to fit in your ear, so I still think the design of these is going to still make it where some people simply can't use them. Now I will say that the first thing you're going to want to do is download the Samsung Galaxy Buds app. And the reason I say that is it gives you a bunch of different EQ settings, and I'll tell you right off the bat, the dynamic EQ setting is the best one to go with. It just brings out a little more life in the sound, and it just has a more energetic feel to it. Now, other things that the app allows you to do is it gives you different controls over your controls, so you can turn it where your noise canceling is off, and then you can add volume control to the earbuds. That way you can control everything. You can also do the Find My Earbuds, and they also have a gaming mode, which will cut down latency when it comes to movies, videos, and, well, gaming. And then the other thing is, if you're an Android user, it has the direct Spotify controls, and you even have the ability for it to read your notifications to you. But again, that's for Android users only. Now they do have Bluetooth 5.0, and they chose not to go with aptX codec, but they're using AAC playback. But they also have Samsung scalable code, which basically means if you have a Samsung device, it's kind of like how AirPods work so well with Apple products. These work really well with Samsung devices to cut down on having dropouts or bad connections, and it's just a very stable Bluetooth codec. Now as far as the IP rating on here, the IP rating is IPX2. That's 2. It's really low on the scale. It's not very protective against water. I think as long as it's light rain, or if you sweat lightly, maybe not too heavily, you'll be fine, but definitely try to keep these away from water. Now as far as what comes inside the box, since these do not use silicone ear tips, they do come with these silicone rubber ear feet, which basically goes on the back end of the earbuds and keeps the earbuds from moving around while they're in your ear. And as far as the charging cable, they've included a USB-C cable. And speaking of the charging cable, battery life is pretty decent on these, especially considering how small the earbud and the case is itself. But there's 3 different ways that you're going to get different battery life out of these. If you choose to have your ANC and Bixby on, you're only going to get 5.5 hours on the earbud and 20 hours total using the case. Where if you choose to just use either ANC or Bixby, you can move that up to 6 hours on the earbud and 21 hours total using the case. But the way that I personally prefer to use these is turn ANC off and turn Bixby off, and that way you can get 8 hours out of the earbud and 29 hours total using the case. Now the case itself is a Qi wireless charging case, so you can just come in and drop this on any wireless charger and it will start charging. It also has your USB-C input on the back for charging, and then around on the front you have a single indicator light so that you can kind of gauge how much battery life is left on the case. Now when you open up the lid to look at the earbuds, it's hard not to notice that these look like beans, like little kidney beans. And that's really kind of the design choice they decided to go with. And the way they did that is they designed it so that it will fit in your ears and you're not having to rely on ear tips or anything else to keep these stable in your ears. And while I like the actual design choice, I still think it's going to be very different performance-wise depending on your ear design. It fit me completely fine. I didn't have a problem with having them angled just right the way that they want them to, and I really like the controls on these. They do give you the ability to control everything, but they do limit it because you do have to go within the app, and I felt like turning ANC off on these and adding volume control was completely worth it because I think the ANC on these are pretty worthless. Now the earbuds also have IR sensors, which basically means when you take the earbuds out, it will auto pause, but it doesn't have the auto resume feature. So when you put them back in your ear, you will have to tap them to have them resume the music. Now for you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, you'll be happy to know that you can use either the left or the right. Now when it comes to the microphones on these, this is definitely a solid selling point on these. It's using 3 different microphones, but the microphones are doing an incredible job of picking up your voice, especially considering these are earbuds that are just way back in your ears. It's not sticking out where it's having the microphone just angled out away towards your mouth. So it's very impressive the ability that these microphones have given their location. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is a mic test using the Galaxy Buds Live. Again, I definitely think this is one of the stronger points, especially considering that the earbuds are so far back that I feel the microphones are doing a really good job of picking up my voice. But this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. The sound on these is going to be very hard to explain simply because I think everybody with different shaped ear canals are going to experience something a little bit different. Now the first thing I want to point out about the sound is the volume. The volume on these could definitely stand to be another notch or 2 louder. Because of that open ear design, a lot of people around you are going to hear everything that you're listening to. It's not really doing anything to keep the sound in. So if you're somebody that doesn't like people around you to hear it, or if you're planning on using these in bed and you don't want your wife or your husband to hear the music you're listening to keep them awake, this is definitely not the pair to go with. Now, the overall sound on these, I was actually impressed with the bass impact that these have, considering they're an open ear design. Because like AirPods and other open ear design, I usually don't feel bass because bass is heavily relying on you to have a good seal. Now, you can still tell that these are definitely lacking a little bit in bass because you're not getting that seal, but I was still surprised with the amount of punch that they had. Now, as far as the mids on these, I will say that it came through clear enough where I can hear male or female vocals, and I can hear a fair amount of detail in the vocals, but depending on what genres and depending on how heavy the bass is, sometimes it felt like the mids were just a little behind everything. Now, as far as the treble on these, I felt like there were plenty of detail in the treble, but I really would have liked to have seen it be a little bit brighter. Again, without a good seal, it's hard to get that very accurate, bright sounding treble, but I still think they did a very good job considering the design. Now, when it comes to the sound stage and the sound imaging, I was actually really impressed. Because of the design, you are getting that really open feel. It's kind of like open back headphones where you're able to kind of hear your surroundings mixed in with your music. So it gives you that illusion of having a much more open environment. And then the details you're able to pick up, these handle extremely well. They're not a muddy sounding earbud that kind of sounds congested. So they definitely did an impressive job there. Now, as far as my cons with these, it's pretty simple, but it's pretty drastic. I feel like the fit is definitely going to be hit or miss for a lot of people. The sound overall, I'm just not a huge fan of because I really like having that good seal because it really does affect the sound. Now, I will say this, these, in my opinion, absolutely destroy the regular Apple AirPods, and that's comparing them to another pair that has that open ear design. And then my only other con is the price. If I were to go at these from a marketing standpoint, I would absolutely remove noise canceling from them because they don't really serve a purpose, and I would knock these down to $100, which is where I feel like they should be priced. But overall, they're still not a bad pair of earbuds. I think the asking price is a little much, and I know that they're doing that because they have noise canceling, but the noise canceling is just not that good. But guys, that's my video on the brand new Samsung Galaxy Buds Live. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.